Hello guys and gals, Buffalo here. Welcome back to the range. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Rock Island Armory lever action 410. You know, I've always had a soft spot for the little 410. If you look back at some of my earliest videos on this channel 10, 12 years ago, some of my earliest popular videos were 410 videos. So when my friend Chase picked up this Rock Island Armory lever action 410 and offered to send it over here and let me do a video with it and break it in and share it with you guys, you know, I was all over that. So that's kind of what today's video is. It's not a longevity review or anything like that. We're just taking a look at this thing. Oh, a little bit of a hang up there. Not a good sign right off the bat, but we'll see how it goes. Nothing to get too excited over, just yet anyway. Alright, let's try 5 more. We'll go nice and slow here, just see how it works. Oh, same thing again. So we may have issues. And again. So I said it wasn't nothing to get too concerned over if it happened once, but multiple times like this we may have a problem. And these are high quality shot shells. These aren't cheap, which no 410 ammunition is cheap, but these aren't inferior shot shells. So we may have some issues with this thing. Put these two back in here. And this is the ammo that I'm using today, Federal High Overall. It's a very slick, tapered hull. It's basically an STS hull with a Federal load in it, 1/2 ounce, number 9 shot. I've shot sporting clays with this stuff. I shoot it in my semi-auto 410s, my Henry lever action 410, my pump action 410s. Never had a problem with this stuff. Just so we're clear here, I've got the gun pointed safely downrange into my backstop. So off camera, I just got to do it again. I fired 2 shots. The second shot fired, but didn't eject. You can see the next round wanting to come up there. It can't go in because the round in front of it didn't eject, and that's what it's been doing. Now it's going to eject. But the round is not actually stuck in there. The way I've been getting it out is I've just been putting my thumb on the extractor. The extractor is just not grabbing the round. So when it's stuck in there, if it doesn't pull it out, I just put my thumb on that extractor and it'll pull it right out. So the hole isn't stuck. It's just not grabbing it. It's that little extractor. Just for comparison's sake, this is the extractor on my Henry lever action 410. Look how massive that extractor is compared to the extractor here on the Rock Island Armory. looks like an extractor off of a 9mm or something. I know it's a totally different design. This is a top eject. This is a side eject. But still, just look at the difference just in the extractor. Anyway, that's going to be a problem for the style of video that I like to make. I like to shoot a lot in my videos, and that's just going to hold me up from doing that. So let me go ahead and just go over this gun and show you guys what it is, and we'll take it from there and see what we can do. Alright, so it's obviously a lever action chambered for 410, but let me give you a quick rundown on this particular model. It has a 20-inch barrel, and it accepts Beretta mobile style choke tubes. Now it comes with 3 tubes. I didn't get those when I borrowed the shotgun. I'm just showing you a couple of examples of what those look like. Alright, so typically on a shotgun, you'll see a brass bead up front or maybe a double bead. But this little gun has what I call rifle style sights. It has a blade sight up front, and on that blade there's a little white dot. And then you've got a rear notch sight, and that rear sight is adjustable for elevation, but there's no way to adjust the windage on this rear sight. You can't even slide it back and forth in a dovetail or anything the way it's bolted on here with this integral Picatinny rail, which is a pretty neat feature to have that rail on here. If you're into red dots on a lever action, great place to mount a forward mounted red dot optic on that Picatinny rail. It does have a 2.5-inch chamber, so you can't shoot the 3-inch 410 rounds, but that's just the way it is with these lever action 410s. It's the same way with the Rossi, the Henry, the old Marlin 410, the TriStar, the G4. They're all 2.5-inch chambers. It's just the nature of the beast of using an appropriately sized action for the 410. It has a 5-round capacity. Looking at this magazine tube, you would think that tube would hold 7, 8, 9 rounds, but it just holds 5. I think the tube only runs to here, and then it's a faux tube, but it looks like a full-length magazine tube, but you only get the 5 rounds. Now, I don't see an easy way of limiting the magazine tube if you're going to use this for hunting species where, if you're familiar with hunting, I know some of you guys don't hunt, some of you do. If you're familiar with small game hunting, some states require that you use that you plug your shotgun to hold 2 rounds in the mag, 1 in the chamber. You're limited to 3 rounds. And in some cases, it's a federal law, as in with migratory birds. So this one, it's not real clear how you would limit the magazine. With the Henry, they sell a separate magazine tube. You can just drop it in and make it hunting legal. With this one, there is a hole here in the end of the magazine tube, and a 3/16 dowel rod will drop in. So what I would do if I was going to hunt migratory birds or something with this shotgun is I would cut my 3/16 inch dowel rod to the appropriate length to where it would only hold 2 in the chamber, and then I would thread me a swivel stud into this hole to block it off, because it doesn't come with swivel studs on it, so you need swivel studs anyway. And that's how I would get around that problem. But that hole is not threaded, so you would have to thread the hole. But I don't have the owner's manual to this gun. I didn't get the owner's manual off Chase when I got the gun. There might be something that I'm overlooking on that. There might be a simpler way to make this thing hunting legal, or there may not. And there's, in some states and with some species, you're not limited on your capacity, but in other places and with other species you are. That's just something that I wanted to mention. Might be important to somebody looking at purchasing a gun like this. It does have a side loading gate, which is a nice feature to have. My old Henry, which is an older model, the newer model Henrys do have the side loading gate. My old one doesn't. So if I want to top off, I have to pull the magazine tube and drop them into the magazine, where if I had a side loading gate, you can just top off like that. So it's a nice feature to have. The receiver on these is aluminum. It does help keep the weight down. They advertise these at 6 pounds. Now, on my little scale, I'm showing 6.4 pounds, so closer to 6.5 pounds, but still not an extremely heavy little gun for a walnut stocked lever action. Something I like about this gun is they didn't put any gaudy, unnecessary external manual safety levers or buttons or anything on it like we see so often on imported lever actions. The finish is really good. It's got a black finish. The receiver, the aluminum receiver and steel barrel have the same color finish. A lot of times when you have an aluminum receiver and a steel barrel, they'll anodize the receiver and parkerize the barrel and the finish doesn't match. This one actually matches pretty good. The fit and finish on this gun is actually pretty good. It's a good looking little shotgun. The action itself on the gun is not bad. It's not as smooth as my Henry, but it's not terrible. I mean, it's not bad. If I didn't have my Henry out here side by side with it, I'd probably think it was pretty smooth. But being able to pick the Henry up right side by side with it, the Henry is quite a bit smoother. The trigger on this one breaks at around 4.5 pounds. It's not a super crisp trigger. It does have quite a bit of creep. MSRP on these I think is around $7.99, so they aren't cheap by any means, and you know, that's just the MSRP. I don't know what the actual store prices are. It's got the large lever loop, so you could wear gloves and shoot this, and it's not too large to where your hands flopping back and forth inside there. It's about the right size, the way I like it. So a lot of things going for it. Let's try to shoot it some more. All right, I've got my clay pigeon thrower set up about 40 yards down range. Let's see if we can get 5 through it here. Cycled them all good that time. I've mounted a Swamp Fox Liberty 3 MOA red dot onto the shotgun. This also belongs to Chase. He sent it over when he sent the shotgun over. I've got 3 of these Cold Turkey by Salt Creek 2.5 inch 410 turkey loads. They're number 10 TSS. And I've got 3 of these life-size turkey targets set up. So we're going to do a little turkey hunt. I've got the turkey target set up at 15, 20, and 25 yards. Remember, we're just using 2.5 inch 410 loads. I've also installed a Carlson's TSS turkey choke. So let's see what that looks like. First at 15. So didn't extract. The way I get it to extract is just press my thumb down on that extractor and it pulls it right out. 20 yards. Oh, it slammed that one. Again, not extracting. The extractor is just very weak. I put my thumb on it, it pops them right out of there. Load this other round back up, and then at 25. That's a dead bird too. Again, look at that. Every one of those. Well, the second time it pulled it out. But that's the only problem I'm having with it, is the extraction. Let's look at these turkey targets. Man, I love these Birchwood Casey turkey targets. I always have these linked in the description of my videos. These are the only targets that I use anymore when I'm testing turkey loads. But it's a life-size turkey head. And you can see every pellet that hits that paper, it just lights up. It makes it really easy to see. And at 15 yards, that 2.5 inch 410 turkey load, it just ripped the head off that turkey. Let's go over here and check out the 20-yard target. Again, that all those, the pink are in the brain and the neck bone. That's just, yeah, definitely a dead turkey. And then all the way over here at 25 yards, it looks about the same. All three of those turkeys would be ready for the deep fryer. They weren't going anywhere. All right, so I had a lot more shooting that I wanted to do, but I'm going to have to wrap it up. That extraction issue is just a little too aggravating, and I'm going to go ahead and call it a video. So would I recommend this to somebody looking for a 410 lever action? You guys saw the video. No, I wouldn't. Not based off of this one sample. And you got to remember, this is just a sample of one. I'm not trying to claim this represents the entire line. It may just have got a bad spring in that extractor, you know, pushing that extractor, because that extractor just feels very, very loose. There's no way that's going to grip onto that case head and pull that case out. It's just not going to. It's just too loose. It's probably got a bad spring in there. I'm not sitting here going to tell you guys that all of them are that way. I only have a sample of one, but based on the sample I have, I would not recommend these. If you guys have these, let me know in the comments how yours is doing. If this is just a one-off thing or not. I don't know. This is the first one of these I ever handled. I love the way it feels. The action is good enough. The trigger is good enough. It shoots where I point it. It looks good. It's got a lot of stuff going for it, except for that one issue. If it wasn't for that issue, I would definitely recommend these. But as it stands, I would just save up and get a Henry. You know, it would only be a couple $100 more to get the Henry, and that's what I'd go with. But that's all I've got for this video. You guys remember, if anybody asks you to give up a little of your freedom for the greater good, we've done enough of that. Freedom is the greater good. I'll talk with y'all again soon.